Hey everyone. So, if you're a creative person, you know the dream, right? You want to take that thing you love, that passion, and turn it into a real career. One that, actually pays the bills. For so long, we've been stuck with this idea of the starving artist, but honestly, that's an old story. A new model is here, one that's all about mixing your art with smart business. The real question is, how do you actually do it? All right, so let's start with a big one. I want you to really think about this. Are you an artist or are you an entrepreneur? For forever, it feels like those two things were seen as total opposites, like oil and water. But the world has totally changed, and that old way of thinking, it's probably the very thing holding your career back. And this right here, this is the shift we've got to wrap our heads around. Think about the old school image, the traditional artist. The lone genius locked away in a studio, totally separate from the dirty business of selling things. The modern artistpreneur? Oh, they are a whole different beast. They're not just a creator, they're also a CEO, a marketer, a community manager, all rolled into one. So here's the bottom line. In today's world, you really have to be both. And look, I get it. That probably sounds exhausting, overwhelming even, but it really doesn't have to be. It's all about blending that amazing creativity you have with some smart strategic thinking. And that's exactly what we're going to do here. We're going to break it all down into a super simple 3-part framework that'll give you a clear roadmap to follow. Okay, first things first, we have to start with the foundation. This is pillar number 1 of building that profitable creative career, and it's all about creating your artist blueprint. Now, what does that mean? It's really about figuring out who you are, what your art is all about, and how you package that up for the rest of the world to see. It's your identity, strategic. So your blueprint, it's really built on 3 core things. Number 1, defining your artistic vision. Think of this as your creative North Star, the thing that guides everything. Number 2, crafting your brand story. This is how you connect with people on a human level. And number 3, curating your portfolio so you're only showing off your absolute best and most iconic work. I promise you, if you get these 3 things right, everything that comes after gets so much easier. So let's dig into that first one. What is an artistic vision, really? Well, think of it like a lighthouse. It's that unique perspective, that core message, those values that guide every single thing you create. And when you're crystal clear on that vision, it makes all your work feel consistent. It helps you stand out from the crowd, and it's what starts to build real trust with your audience. And your brand story? This is so much more than just a boring bio on your website. It's a powerful tool. When you share your actual journey, I'm talking the highs, the lows, the why behind what you do, you let people see the human being behind the art. And that kind of authenticity, that's what forges a real connection. It's how you turn a casual follower into a true fan, someone who's really invested in your success. All right, let's shift gears to our second pillar. Now that we've got the who you are part sorted with your blueprint, it's time to build your creative engine. This is all about the how, as in, how are you actually going to make money? This is where we get into the nuts and bolts of generating income and, building some real financial stability. Probably the single biggest key to financial stability as a creative is this: diversification. Putting all your eggs in one basket, say only selling original pieces, it's super risky. A smart artistpreneur builds a much more resilient business by creating multiple streams of income. You've got your online sales, maybe some freelance projects, teaching workshops, even art licensing. Every one of these isn't just another way to make money. It's a safety net. Okay, let's talk about one of those slices for a second: art licensing. This can be an absolute game changer. So many artists don't realize how powerful it is. Basically, it's a way to earn passive income. You create a piece of art one time, and then you can earn money from it over and over again, as different companies pay to put it on their products, like t-shirts, phone cases, you name it. And the best part? You still own the original work. It's an amazing way to get your art out there without having to be on the content treadmill 24/7. So you've got these ideas for making money. But what do you charge? Pricing is one of those things that paralyzes so many creators. Where do you even begin? Honestly, the number 1 most effective thing you can do is just do your homework. Go look at what other artists in your specific niche are charging for similar work. This isn't about copying them, not at all. It's about collecting intel so you can find that perfect sweet spot where you're valuing your work properly, but you're still priced right for the market. Okay, so we've got your blueprint, which is your who. We have your engine, which is your how. Now, for the third and final pillar, growing your network. This is what's going to fuel your career for the long haul. And I want to be clear, this is not about just finding more customers. It's about building a genuine community, a real support system around you and your art. So how do you actually do that? How do you build that community? Well, it's a mix of things. It means being active on social media, but I mean really engaging, not just posting your work and then disappearing. It means getting out there in the real world, too, going to art fairs, local events, workshops. And this one is huge. It means looking for other creatives to collaborate with. Every single one of these things helps build up that support system. You know, we really need to change how we think about the word networking. Forget that old kind of gross idea of just schmoozing at some stuffy event to collect business cards. That's not it. Real networking, the kind that actually helps you, is about building that support system. It's about finding your people. Peers you can talk shop with, mentors who've been there before, and collaborators who push you to be better. It's a community that really lifts you up. And speaking of collaborations, the benefits are just massive. Seriously, when you team up with another artist, you immediately get your work in front of their entire audience. You come up with cool new projects that you never would have thought of on your own, and you get to share skills and knowledge, which makes both of you better artists in the end. It's a win-win-win. All right, let's pull this all together. We've walked through the three big pillars. Building a creative career that actually pays isn't about finding some secret trick or a magic bullet. It's about weaving these three things together, your blueprint, your engine, and your network into one cohesive strategy. And here's the entire framework, laid out nice and simple. Your blueprint asks, who are you? Your engine asks, how do you earn? And your network asks, how do you grow? Now, to get you started right now, here's a tiny piece of homework for each one. For your blueprint, just try to write a single sentence that captures your mission. For your engine, go research one online marketplace you've never looked at before. For your network, find 3 artists you love online and leave a real, meaningful comment on their stuff. See? Super simple steps, but they can have a huge impact. So we'll leave you with this final thought. Your art, your unique voice, your creativity, it has value, period. All this framework does is give you a roadmap to go out and claim that value for yourself. So the only question that matters now is, what's the first step you're going to take today to make that happen?